So, the folks at Sparseal, creators of Uniform, Cozy Blanket, and their most recent iPad tool called Wafer, have just recently made an announcement. And for those who have no idea the tools that they've made before, Uniform is a general purpose 3D editor with sculpting, modeling, texturing, and rendering capabilities. This is one of those tools that you would use for your everyday 3D modeling, sculpting, and texturing right on your iPad. And Cozy Blanket is a beautiful retopology, UV unwrapping, and texture baking tool for iPad as well. And of course, we've covered these tools on the channel before. One which we've actually not talked about is their most recent Wafer tool, which is by default a texture painting software with PBR workflow support. And it's quite interesting to see that this has actually gathered a bit of buzz in recent times, and this has led to them making an announcement that Wafer will be coming to desktop. And that is really nice. And the cool thing with this is currently in beta right now. And before we talk about that, for those who like to read up on both Uniform, Cozy Blanket alongside Wafer, you can simply go over to the link in the description. I'll bring you right here where you'll be able to take a look at these, and of course you will be able to download these as well. And of course for Wafer, this is a pretty cool tool for anyone that is thinking about clean user interface for texturing right on their iPad. Of course, this comes with some amazing tools and also features that allows you simply work with layers, 3D painting and drawing tools like brushes, lasso, gradient, wet brushes, blur tools, and so much more. So it is a pretty nice tool in general, and it's quite nice to see that this is coming to desktop. At the same time, this comes with an integrated asset browser that allows you to work with both stencils, textures, and also alphas. Some additional capabilities that this also comes with includes the precise control over effect areas, which is by default pretty nice. Then we've also got some two-side views alongside integrated reference board and the ability for you to simply pack textures for any pipeline. So this tool by default is a beautiful one. Now for those who like to get this, you might need to simply go over to a link which I'm going to put in the description where you'll be able to download and use it. And by default, once you get this downloaded and fire it up, basically this is what you have. So we're simply going to restart the whole process so you can actually see what you need to keep in mind. How you work with this is you need to import the files, and the files you need to import are basically OBJ, GLB, FPX, and VRM for those who work with virtual reality models. So if we click on import, we already have a demo file, which is the one we opened earlier, and it actually comes with Wafer. Once you download this, you can click on open. Now once you click on open, you can choose exactly what you want to do. Single color, which is basically hand painting and MPR, or you can go over to basic PBR, which is basically working with different texture type. You can choose the kind of resolution you like. 4K is set to default. You can simply go over to custom, increase this if you want, but in this case we're simply going to keep it as it is. If you like to have solid or transparent, we can select that. Once you have this, click on create, and automatically you have yourself this. Now for navigation, you do have various forms of navigation that this offers. We can now go in and move around our scene. And basically, if you haven't added anything, I think this is more like a bug with the beta. If you haven't added any texture or color maps or anything, this automatically disappears once you're rotating across your scene. Right here is where we can set things back to home. We can also switch to different views. So if we like to see things in perspective, orthographic, front view, side view, all that stuff, you can do all of this. Now for the texturing, which is the main reason why this tool actually exists, how you texture is pretty simple. You go over to your layers, and from here is where you can start doing stuff. By default, you need to activate color. And once you activate color, which is this, you need to switch to canvas, because once you import the stuff, it does create a layer for you. You possibly don't even know what layer this is at this time. So for this one, I'm just simply going to go ahead and delete that layer. And then I'm going to add a new fill and change this fill to white so that we can actually see what we are painting against. Next thing we need to do is to add new canvas. So your new canvas is basically an empty layer where you can now paint things on. So you can go over to where you've got your T, which is more like your texture stuff. And right here, you can see you've got brushes, your eraser, blur, small, gradient, clip, pixel, sample, fill, and filter. So we can select a color, say for example, this color, select the brush we'd like to paint with, for example, that brush, and we can now come over here and make our painting. So if this is what we're going for, we can actually just go in and paint. And now that we've added a layer, you'd notice it no longer disappears when we orbit across our model. Other things that you can do includes playing with the settings depending on what you like to do with the brush, pretty similar to what you already have. And we've got some very nice pressure sensitivity stuff that has to do with pen. So you can play with all of these if you're working with a pen, and this is also going to be very good. If you like to add some jittering, some stroke sampling, stabilizing, tip stuff, you can do all of that. In terms of painting, you also have some parameters that you can also play with, so you can choose exactly what the painting operation is actually doing. You can also change the blending mode to different kinds of blending mode that exist. And right over here, we've got the influence, which we can use to choose what influences what when we're doing our texturing. If we take ourselves back here, this is where we can define our texture set. At the same time, if we have references that would like to load in, we can load in those references. If we've got more models we'd like to bring in, we can import more models from here. Over here is where we can choose how we like our viewport shading to be. Within the UV layout is where we can actually paint things in 2D if we want. Now, in some cases, you might want to paint things in 2D so that you can see in 3D, pretty much like what you have with Substance and various other tools. And to do that, you just need to click on Add Panel, and automatically that adds a panel for you. So we can have that panel in, and of course we can go over to, say for example, come right here, select another color, go over here, add a new canvas, and this canvas we would like it to just simply affect the color, and we can go ahead and do our simple painting. So you notice our brush actually is within color because we're basically painting just color. At this point, if we like to preview, for example, metalness, we need to click on this to see that, and we don't have that. So we can also take a look at roughness. We don't have that. For color, we basically have that. And for mask, we don't have any mask. So if we like to paint roughness, we need to click to have roughness selected. So once we're making our painting, we're also going to be painting roughness alongside. And so, because we just like to paint roughness, what we need to do is to switch these from color to roughness. And because we would like to see the roughness, at this point, if we choose to paint roughness, we're not actually going to see anything. Let's add a new canvas, and we can actually go ahead and rename this canvas and call it roughness. If we go over to where we have our whole view stuff, we can change this from shaded to PBR. That way we'll be able to see the roughness when we paint on it. And so if we go all the way back and we choose to paint roughness onto our canvas, we need to go over to the color and set these to either 1 or 0. I'm going to go all the way back to presets, or 1. So if we set this to 0 and start painting, nothing happens. If we set this to 1 and start painting, you notice that automatically those parts begins to get rough. So we can actually paint our roughness across our model and possibly just keep certain places to be rough. Maybe we would like to just have the roughness about areas like so. So we can just paint only these parts and then leave the other parts as it is. By the way, if you like to increase or reduce your brush size, if you press F on the keyboard and right click and drag, you can either increase or reduce your brush size. It's also worth mentioning that you can paint both on 3D and on 2D, and you can see that right there. The same thing that we talked about in the viewport for your brush size is also available right here. Another interesting shortcut, which I think you might love, is for the blur. So if you hold down Shift, let's actually increase this. So if you hold down Shift and start, scribbling, you can switch over to the blur brush and blur your paintings, and that way it can create some nice blends. So if you're just thinking about blending stuff together, and that way we might start getting something a bit more interesting. And the same thing that we talked about, the roughness, is exactly the same thing that happens when you choose to paint your metallic. We can choose to just preview or visualize this in this sense and make that painting. We can turn this off to see exactly what we're doing. And again, if you like to blur things out, you can go ahead and blur these things out yourself. So if you like to control how much metallicness you have, you can definitely go ahead and do that from here, and you can paint in that metallic right here. And so if you are thinking about using dedicated layers, of course this supports that. At the same time, you can do some opacity, so you can drop this down, you can bring this up, you can do some mixing if you like, maybe multiply, do some screening, some overlays, depending on what you want to do. This tool has it covered, and it's pretty interesting. One other thing which is also really nice, before we talk about the alpha decals and stuff you can find within the asset browser, is if you go over to displays, you can choose to turn on or turn off your symmetry. So we did miss missed on talking about this one earlier. So you can choose to, turn on, turn off all of these. If you've got a normal map, you can add that normal map. So we already have a normal map, so I'm simply going to have that selected. Click on open and add the normal map to this if this is something that we would like to use. And because we've added the normal map, you can now see that we'll have a bit more description on our model, especially, knowing exactly where things are, like the eyes and all that stuff. This has now given a bit more description to the model itself. If we go back to where we have our stuff, we can also choose to play with the environment that we have here. So by default, this is set to either default or color, which is something that you can change. So if you like this to be maybe within that color, you can have it. But if we simply go over to environment, we can do some stuff. We can play with the intensity of the environment. We can bring that down if we want. If we go all the way down, you'll notice that we've got add folder. This is in case you've got a folder of assets that you like to work with. You can obviously click on add and add those folders. In that way, you can have all of your assets in one place and have access to all of them. Of course, we've already talked about the whole UV thing and the reference thing. In case you do have references you like to work with, you can load them in. And within the asset section, we've got some cool stuff. And this includes alphas, decals, and stencils. And so alphas basically work like alphas. So just in case you are thinking about using an alpha to make some painting, you can. So for this one, I'm just simply going to go ahead and turn all of these off so we can explore with the alpha. Let's actually just go in and add a new canvas altogether. In this case, I'm simply going to select like the line art or maybe a little bit of a hard brush, and we can select an alpha. And this alpha is going to be our brush alpha. So if we go over to our piece and we try to paint, you would notice that we're painting based off that alpha. If we go over and change the color to something like red, for example, and we choose to paint, we will be painting with the alpha as well. So basically, that is how the alpha works. So you can actually use it to initiate a painting on a particular surface like so. You can also click on the alpha and change it to your paint color. And automatically, once it becomes your paint color, it drives the color of your paint. It actually overrides the original color and now drives the color of this paint. So in that way, you can use your alpha to add some very interesting looking designs on your piece. Other things that you can do with your alphas is by simply clicking on them and using them as your stencil influence. Of course, we do have stencils, but you can use this as stencil influences and also triplanar influence. If you like to use these as new image references, you can use them as image references as well. And in terms of decals, we've got some decals right here. So for the decals, we can just simply have the decals selected and we can use the decals on a brand new layer. So once we click on brand new layer, automatically it hops onto a new layer and creates that decal. So we now have this decal right here, which you can turn on or turn off depending on what you want. However, if you like to use this decal and paint onto something else, of course you can. So with this here, if we go all the way back to where we have our painting stuff, we can scroll down and select decal. And with this selected, of course, we can paint the decal that we want. We can also go in and have our brush selected, click right here and change this to the paint color. Or we can simply select the decal right here, click right here and use it as a paint color as well. So once we have that, if we go ahead and paint, these becomes the decals and we just simply stamp them across. So you can use that in that regards. The same thing with the stamping tool, you also have that. One thing to keep in mind is these things have different settings and that is where their individuality actually makes sense. For symmetry, you can play with the symmetry how you want things to be placed depending on where you're working. So you can either control that right here within your 2D workspace, or you can control that within your 3D workspace. By default, the symmetry is dead on the center, but you can use this to control the symmetry. And so if you make a painting on one side, it reflects where it thinks the symmetry is. Outside that, you can simply reset all of these, center this where you want it to be, and turn this off. You've also got some stuff like select as well, which is also really cool. So you can select various parts and use them. In terms of the painting, there is something I did miss out. So in terms of the painting, if we go over to where we have our influence, we can choose our painting to influence just surfaces, or we can select it to influence just polygons, islands, so all of these islands. So instead of painting one after the other, you can just hit once and it paints right there, or you can simply influence the normal. So all of these are things to keep in mind. Other than that, this is just your basic texturing tool, which you can use to do stuff. And from decals to stencil, you do have all of this. You can use stencils as pattern guides, so you can use them to basically place patterns in various areas and make those paintings automatically. At the same time, if you're thinking about using gradient, you can also go ahead and explore all of these, make your selections, and also create mask. Creating mask is something that is also pretty interesting. So you can create a layer and you can add mask to that layer. So in this example, we just created this stuff, and if we would like to add a mask, we can choose to add a white mask, or we can choose to add a black mask depending on what you're actually texturing. And something which I think might also come in very handy is working with the clip tool. So with the clip tool, you can just simply go ahead and clip a certain area in your painting, and only that area gets filled. And that is also pretty nice. So this is it. For those who like to take a look at these, or maybe you like to explore it, I'm going to link this in the description so you can go ahead and check it out. This tool is coming to desktop, and Wafer is an amazing texturing tool made available by the folks at Sparseal. And for those who like to explore this, links to this is going to be in the description, so do well to check it out. Tell me what you guys think about this one in the comment section, and until I see you guys in the next one, peace.